when if you Google masculine or masculinity, it give you a weak ass definition. It's like things that's typically associated with men. That's the definition they give you.
Okay.
That's why this weak as hell. If today men start wearing purses and getting their fingernails painted, and this becomes the norm.
Mm-hmm.
50 years from now, the masculine thing will be a purse and fingernail polish. You see what I'm saying? So if you only base it off of what's typically associated with men, that's a terrible, weak ass definition.
Okay.
So I define it as I take that same definition and specify it. I say what's traditionally associated with what type of men. So I think it's different forms of masculinity. If we look at black masculinity, what do black men typically do without the interference of white influence? Is it a such thing as toxic masculinity? So toxic, some harmful, some bad. All right, cool. Undivine, ungood, cool. Masculinity. Now, these words are like, what's the word? Opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Something can't be, because masculine is a divine thing. Like God made masculinity, God made femininity.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So if we say, imagine saying like toxic divinity. You like, huh? Like, them words don't go together. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about saying toxic masculinity.
Okay.
So,
like saying unathletic athletics.
Yes.
exactly. It's an oxymoron.
I'll tell you.
It's a straight oxymoron. Honesty.
Not black people. People, period, can make anything toxic. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. It can be a toxic anything. Just because you're a man, that doesn't mean it can be anything. That's the only reason why I'm saying that.
I like that point.
And that could be female too.
Okay.
That's all.
So,
again, I'm vice versa.
That was definitely going to be my question.
Don't think all men just do this.
femininity.
Women do the same thing.
What's going on, y'all? Excuse my voice. I'm trying to get over a cold. Hopefully y'all can hear me good. But this episode 2, if y'all didn't go watch episode 1, be sure to check episode 1 out after y'all watch this, or before y'all watch this, go back to it. In this video, we're going to pick up where we left off here with episode 1. We're going to let them get their introduction off, let them get their names, all that. Then y'all seen the title, y'all seen the thumbnail, y'all see what we're going to talk about today. Now, let's go and get into it. I appreciate y'all for tapping into episode 2. Be sure to tap into episode 1 and 3 after this. Appreciate y'all.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. Today, I got 2 guests with me. Now, I'm going to need y'all to introduce yourself by name, age, relationship status. Y'all know the drill.
Okay. I'm Carly Crystals, y'all. That's on all platforms, but Instagram it is Banner Bear. I am 30, Leo, big Leo. I just turned 30, and I am single and not ready to mingle.
Okay. What about yourself?
So I'm Dre Williams, Dre LLC on Instagram. Age 22, relationship status up in the air.
It's up there.
She like, we ain't gonna make no definitive claims right now.
It's up in the air.
All right. Now, the first question I want to ask, we're gonna jump straight into it. Do you think it's a such thing as toxic masculinity? Don't need to go into it yet. Just give a yes or no now, then we come back into it.
It's hard to answer without going into it. I would say, is there a such thing? Yes.
Okay.
But is it what we commonly think of when people say toxic masculinity? Probably not.
Okay. Good point. What about you?
Yes.
She's
Now,
like,
but
that's simple.
I'm only saying this because not black people. People, period, can make anything toxic. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. It can be a toxic anything. Just because you're a man, that doesn't mean it can be anything. That's the only reason why I'm saying that.
I like that point. Okay.
And that could be female too.
Okay.
That's all.
So,
again, I'm vice versa.
That was definitely going to be my question.
Don't
so
think all men just do this.
femininity.
Women do the same thing. Women, because in Memphis, again, I'm not from here either. I'm from Florida. Memphis, these women here aggressive. They aggressive.
We do got some aggressive females.
They'll make y'all cry.
It's Memphis. Everybody aggressive.
You all right. You right.
All right, so expound on your point, Dre.
Okay. So, is there a such thing as toxic masculinity? Yes. But it's not the common things.
Okay.
It's not the things like the conversation we was having earlier about, and again, we're not saying it in an oppressive way. We think women should be in a house as much as possible.
Yeah.
But it's safer in the house. Again, how do I say this? You are a lot more useful in the house than I am.
Yeah.
So it's things like that, the reason that a man will want his woman in the house.
Right.
Women would call it toxic masculinity.
Okay.
I don't think that's the case. I think that's just a man caring about his woman.
That's
Now, what I actually do consider toxic masculinity
Let's get into it.
are the things, the hyper aggressive things. Like, I think suicide is toxic masculinity.
Is that masculinity though? That's
a lot more.
That's the question. We gotta define what is masculinity. Is suicide masculinity?
Okay. Tell me what your definition of masculinity is, and I'm gonna tell you why I feel like it falls under toxic masculinity.
When if you Google masculine or masculinity, it give you a weak ass definition. It's like things that's typically associated with men. That's the definition they give you.
Okay.
That's why this weak as hell. If today men start wearing purses and getting their fingernails painted, and this becomes the norm.
Mm-hmm.
50 years from now, the masculine thing will be a purse and fingernail polish. You see what I'm saying? So if you only base it off of what's typically associated with men, that's a terrible, weak ass definition.
Okay.
So I define it as I take that same definition and specify it. I say was traditionally associated with what type of men. So I think it's different forms of masculinity. If we look at black masculinity, what do black men typically do without the interference of white influence? Okay. So if you take black colony, black civilization that hasn't been colonized, that doesn't have white influence over them, what do these men do? So I feel like that's a type of masculinity. Then you have white masculinity. You see what I'm saying? Then you can say, "Oh, for you just tripping. You just trying to divide the races." Shut the hell up. Historically, if we look at it, we operate our society much different than they operate their society. Since these are two patriarchal societies, since the men run this society, we can look at how the society ran as a hint of what the masculinity is. You know what I'm saying? So suicide is a white thing. In our nations, we don't have a history of suicide. That's not a concept that we believe in. Remember yesterday I said in our civilizations, we didn't have a concept of I. Mm-hmm. We had a concept of we, the communal good. So we understood if I'm going through something bad and I want to harm myself or something, that's a me decision. That's stupid. You see what I'm saying? 100%. Now, in the Western societies, under white rule, now we got shit like suicide rates.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So, I'm going to talk about masculinity in the Western society because that's where I've been most of my life.
Okay.
So, I haven't spent enough time in the African nation to say exactly what masculinity is over there. I've done a little traveling, but again, not enough to know their culture that detailed. Okay. So I say what happened around where I be. Yeah. So I say definition of toxic masculinity are things like suicide rates. There are things like harming innocent people. It's things like school shootings would be up under that. It's like, I would say the definition of toxic masculinity is trying to push on people who, one, done nothing to you, two, not in your weight class. Yeah. So like, I think the coldest thing about boxing is the fact that it's different weight classes and different, or we can just leave it at weight classes. Because it's like, if you 260, you get no cool points for beating on somebody that's 120. Yeah. Like if you 6'6", 260, somebody 5'2", 120, like you get no points for that. You should whoop them. So I think my definition of toxic masculinity is pushing on people that you know can't push back.
Okay.
It's doing things, like I said, to harm people who can't fight back. And like you said, just things. Like I said, suicide, school shootings.
I agree with that.
Especially when we're talking about women, I agree.
Yeah. Now, I agree with that too. And I want to get back to that. Now, before I get into it, Carly, give your explanation on why you gave your answer.
How I said yes because anything can be toxic.
Yeah,
that's my experience.
Yeah, I was just gonna think like,
but
that's
I agree with him though. I agree with him, especially when this is the basic word of weight class. Because you have men that can be over controlling. You got men that say you can't wear this, you can't look at a man in his eyes, you can't go here. Or even if it's domestic violence or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
But I agree with him though, but the same thing, anything can be toxic. And you can abuse anything as a male or female.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, I'm just vice versa. But that was just really my only thing.
Okay. 100%. I can't believe I ain't mentioned domestic violence, but there's definitely toxic masculinity.
You basically hit the head.
Punch it down. Yeah. But
so how I feel about it is it a such thing as toxic masculinity? So toxic, some harmful, some bad. Cool. Undivine, ungood, cool. Masculinity. Now, these words are like, what's the word? Opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Something can't be, because masculine is a divine thing. Like God made masculinity, God made femininity. Cool. So if we say, imagine saying like toxic divinity. You're like, huh? Like, them words don't go together. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about saying toxic masculinity. Okay. So,
like saying unathletic athletics.
Yes.
Exactly. It's an oxymoron.
I'll tell you.
It's a straight oxymoron. Honest thief.
That was perfect.
Honest thief. Okay. So that's how I feel about the toxic masculinity topic. So can something be toxic? Yes. But can something be toxic and masculine? No. So I got two different answers. One is not a such thing as
I'm following him.
Cooking.
It's not a such thing as toxic masculinity. Two, if we want to say it is a such thing as toxic masculinity, because I agree with what both of y'all said.
We need some stats.
Yeah, though. I agree with both of y'all. The only part I disagree with is the wording. What y'all said, I'm right on. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, let's throw out the first thing I said. And let's touch on what y'all said, the different forms of what we call toxic masculinity. I 100% agree. That shit needs to go left, go out the window. Cool. But like I said, whose masculinity? If masculinity itself is a divine thing from God, then if somebody came and tried to make it toxic or make it bad, it's not masculinity.
Right.
Because say if masculinity is these 5 things, let's say one of these 5 things is protection. If I oppress people, that's in direct opposition of protection.
Yeah.
So by doing any deviation of one of the rules, automatically it can't be considered masculine no more. You see what I'm saying? So I say that's why I say it can't be a masculinity. But let's go back to the thing in it, like everybody have, like, we just refer masculinity as something men do. So let's just put it in that sense. Then yes, it could be good men and bad men. Now, let's go into the different type of men. I say, like I said earlier, historically, Black people have no history of bad masculinity or femininity.
Correct.
We honor our women honor us. We try to raise our women up, respect our women. They try to raise us up, respect us. Cool, unity. White people don't have a system of unity. Before they even got around Black people, they oppress their own women. You see what I'm saying? So this is, I don't want to use the word masculinity, but this is how they men operate. You see what I'm saying? So I say, if we do say it's a such thing as toxic masculinity, we just have to define who masculinity are you talking about. Is no such thing as toxic black masculinity unless they have now been under the oppression and rule, control, and tutelage of white people. When white people not under nobody else rule but they own, they still got bad masculinity. You see what I'm saying? Like, this still some badass behavior. So that's how I feel about it. Now, I want to touch on what you said about like the controlling part. That's an interesting part because I feel two ways about it. On one hand, control, the definition of control just means having great influence over something. I would hope I have great influence over my woman. Like, I would hope she see me in a way where she like, damn, he wise, whatever he said, I want to listen to him. Damn, what he's saying going against what I'm saying. But damn, I trust the study and he do so much. Shit, I'm going to sacrifice my own will and commit to his will. Okay, cool. I hope I got that much control. But like you said, isn't such thing as taking it too damn far. So now we got to gauge how control should be administered. I feel like when we look at our culture of black people, not now under white influence, but just historically, before we got colonized or whatever, and we look at the women in these societies and we try to study femininity, they was like, shit, all the way down with whatever the dudes had going. But why? Is it just because they were just like following blind? Like, these just some dumbass black women and they don't got no say so they like, they will do whatever the dude say. You know? Or was the dude smart as hell? The girls smart as hell? So logic agree with logic and they came to the same conclusion. So with that, with a dude doing too much, like being controlling in a way where it's like, damn, cause you make life damn near depressing for her. And like, I feel like it's two things that need to be done. The dude need to have a lot of wisdom and intelligence. From you having wisdom and intelligence, you able to look at situations and say, this is how we should go about it. Right. Then you will be able to articulate it in a way where your girl can understand. And she like, okay, cool. But the second thing is, she gotta be intelligent. Because if I'm intelligent as hell and I'm able to say, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If I'm able to say, babe, this is why you should stay home. This is why you should do this. This is why we need to stop eating meat. This is why we need to fast. This is why we need to do that. You would think like, damn, there's too many rules. Like, bruh, too controlling. But if you also wise, you will be able to see the wisdom in the rules and be like, cool, let's get it. So that's the part I feel about being controlling. Establish rules and systems that give y'all the better outcome, but only establish rules and systems that give y'all a better outcome. Don't overstep it and start just doing shit just to make her life harder. And female, if he is establishing rules that make y'all life easier, you try to understand the reasoning and why. Don't just say, damn, this hard. Damn, this different than what I've been doing. Hell nah. Try to understand the logic and reasoning in it and be like, damn, this still difficult. This is an adjustment. This is a sacrifice. But fuck it, let's tackle it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it.
I want to double down on something you said, because you said something that was so cold and you kind of skipped over some cold things. But it's like you said, control, when you actually know the definition of control, is what relationships should be about. Because in a brief, women care a lot more about love than men do, and men care a lot more about respect than women do.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how a man feels about it, I think a perfect relationship is set up to where, like you said, she thinks highly enough of him that he don't have to say, go here, do this. He can say, I feel this about this situation. And she respect him enough. It's like, I think he's highly intelligent. So if that's the conclusion he came to, I understand why he came to that conclusion. And I'm not saying a blind trust on everything, because there will be situations and things to where I will, like, my girl got the final say. Like, because I know she's a lot better at these things than me.
Facts.
Easy example. I wanted to be great at basketball. I'm not going to tell LeBron James, like, man, you tripping. This how you should hoop. If LeBron James say, hey, this how you get a bucket, I'm going to listen. So I think in relationships, shorty should feel like there are things that the things that are under her man's tutelage, she should feel like he's LeBron James and those things, and vice versa. Things that's under her tutelage, he should feel like she's the greatest at, and where she say go.
Hey, we finna start doing poetry in this.
As you should.
Yeah,
as you should.
I'm like, that's a good point. And then as a woman, this why I feel like women be in tough situations sometimes, because as a woman, I had a young lady here probably like a month ago. She was like, she the more masculine one, like she the one that got the backbone in her relationship. Yeah. And she was like, I be trying to like, for lack of a better word, pass the torch to him. But she was like, that's basically what she was saying. She was like, he don't really got it in him. And I'm asking her, like, so how you feel about it? Like, does this make you unhappy with the relationship? She was like, low key, yeah. So
if not now, it'll probably come up later.
Yeah. So like the tough thing with women is like, you want a dude who able to like stir
put
the
his
shit.
foot down, stand on business. What he say go.
But then if you got a dude that's not intelligent enough to lead y'all where y'all need to go, you constantly feel the need to like step in and and you don't want to keep doing that. So that's why on the women end, I be like, bro, y'all just gotta vet y'all dude really well before fully submit to him. Because if you fully give him the keys, close your eyes, go to sleep while you drive, you wake up in a ditch, it's like, damn, it's his fault. Cause like he didn't know how to drive. But it's your fault because goddamn, you gave him the key too early.
You knew you ain't know how to drive.
Yeah, so that's the take on that. But then the last question I want to get into now, this is what I told you I'm pull out the hat. Do y'all think, I just thought this morning, this one cold. Do y'all think it's possible to have a religion but not believe in God?
Excuse my voice again. You know I'm sick, but we're going to end episode 2 right here. We're finna get into episode 3 here shortly. Now, y'all know talking about religion, always a good, interesting topic when you're able to challenge each other intelligently. So, with that being said, get up with me on episode 3, y'all. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Yes, sir, Ski.